If you've been on the fence for a while and been trying to decide between console and PC, I'm about to try to help you all settle this debate. At least I hope so. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kai. Welcome back to Plugged In. Today, we're going to be talking about console gaming and PC gaming. We're going to break down some of the pros and cons. Hopefully, if this is something that you've been debating on, I will be able to help you guys make a decision on which one you want to go with. Now, we're going to go ahead and start with console first, because I feel like that's the most common choice for gaming. Now, of course, console, I do have one. I got a PS5, I have a PC as well. But just some of the pros of console gaming, right? It's easy, it's simple, plug and play. Nowadays people don't really have a whole lot of free time on their hands. So having a console, easy plug and play, it's not much you really have to think about. All you need is the console controller and the TV. You know what I'm saying? All the other extra stuff, if you want to have it, you can. A nice little headset, whatever else you might buy for your console, and you're pretty much good to go. You don't really have to worry about too many specifics when it comes to consoles. You also have certain titles that are optimized for console only. Not to mention you have your console exclusive, your Spider-Man, Gears of War, Last of Us, titles like that that are only exclusive to console only. Now, there have been console exclusive titles that have come out, been made available to PC gamers, but it's been after a long time. But pretty much there are a lot of good games that are exclusive only to console that you will miss out on if you do decide to go PC only. Now, of course, the setup required for a console is also simplistic, which again speaks to its convenience. Console, like I said, console, couch, TV, that's pretty much all you need. If you want to have a nice desk setup or something like that, you don't have to buy as much for a console. You can get you a nice budget friendly desk, get you a monitor, and you're pretty much good to go with console. PC, there are a lot of moving parts with that, but you need a little bit more for the PC side of things to get going. Now, getting into some of the cons of console gaming. Now, with console, you are pretty much locked into that ecosystem, man. You buy a PS5, you're with PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? You can't upgrade any of your internals or anything like that. Now, you can make cosmetic changes to it. You might be able to buy you some different looking face plates and change the color of your PS5, but it's not going to make it run any faster. So, you're locked into whatever that console can do performance wise. PS5, you can't really push the limits. You can only set it to whatever max settings is going to go to, and that's it. Not to mention, we have to pay these egregious online subscription fees, man. I remember back when console gaming used to be free back on the PlayStation 3, and it was a good time. You got PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live, you have to pay for all these subscriptions. Nintendo has a subscription. It's too many things to pay for. You already paying for Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus. Who wants to pay for PlayStation Plus on top of that? And then if you have multiple different consoles, you're paying for all those different subscriptions. If you got kids, everybody's not going to want the same console you have. So, your kids might want a Nintendo while you rocking the PS5. Well, those two subscriptions you got to pay for. So, it's a lot. Not to mention consoles age quickly, man. We've had the PS5. The PS5 has been out for quite some time. PS5 Pro just came out. PS6 is on the way, is going to be coming out pretty soon. So if you just bought the PS5 Pro, imagine you're going to have to upgrade again to the PS6 when that comes out somewhere within the next 1 to 3 years. I don't know exactly what the timeline is on that, but it's going to be pretty soon. Then with consoles, you will typically get lower frame rates and graphics compared to a high-end PC build. Now, that's not to say that you can't get good-looking graphics and good-looking performance out of a PC, because you can. But compared to a high-end PC build, the PC is going to blow it out of the water every single time. So, PC, you're just capable of doing a lot more. And that's just what it boils down to. Now, getting into PC gaming and everything that you can do with that, man, we're going to talk about some of the pros. My first pro is, of course, performance and graphics. You are able to push your performance to the limits on PC, play high frame rates, and have ultra settings on your graphics and all that. Of course, if you have a good high-end build, but PC allows you to do that. And you have a lot more customization, man. You can get all the settings dialed into where you want them to be. You know, you have your ray tracing and all of that stuff to make the game look better. And you can also still have high performance. So I think that's a huge plus. You know, the control, you have the power to make the decisions on how you want your graphics to be set up, and you can tailor everything to how you want it. Now, another pro of PC gaming is the upgradability. You are able to swap out your parts, you know, as you see fit. You want a new graphics card, you can change that out. You want a new CPU, you can change that out. You want to upgrade your RAM, you can do that. And you don't have to go out and buy a whole new PC to do it. If you want to upgrade your console for better graphics, better performance, you have to buy an entirely new console, similar to a laptop. Now with PCs, I recommend, if you're gonna do a PC, do a PC build where you can swap out your parts. I wouldn't recommend a gaming laptop or anything like that. You know, sometimes people try to game on high spec MacBook Pros or MacBook Airs. Like, you can't upgrade the internals on those. Like, PCs give you a lot more control, but that's a huge bonus. You don't have to go out and buy a whole nother PC. You can keep the same case, a lot of the same internals. It's just a few different parts that you may have to upgrade over the years, but depending upon what you buy, you may not even have to upgrade them for a few years. And when it comes to upgrading your PC components, there is a used market that you can shop for your parts. So you don't have to go out and spend an arm and a leg. Now, we know PC gaming can be very expensive. You can spend thousands of dollars on a PC build very easily, but you can also outsource your parts from the used market. You can look at a Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, OfferUp, and you can find great deals on used PC parts that are in great condition that you can use, and you could save a whole lot of money doing that. Now, the next pro is the mods, man. I love mods on PC, especially for some of the titles that I play. If you're familiar with PC gaming or you're into watching streams, if you've watched GTA RP, you've seen the mods on that. You know, you've seen the realistic cars be added in the game. You've seen realistic businesses. You know, they got realistic jobs. Like, they have everything you can think of in GTA RP. They got iPhones in there. And if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that you check it out. Now, on the console side of that, you can role play on console, but it's just the experience is nowhere near the same as what it is on PC. It's a whole lot greater on PC with just what you can do with the mods. Also, another game that I mod is NBA 2K. I can make the game look a lot better than the console counterpart because of the mods that I'm able to add to the game. There are creators out there who make these mods, and they are completely free. And you can make the player cyber faces look better. You can have, you know, better detailed jerseys. You can make them look more realistic with just the wrinkles in the jersey and just how they look. You can make the muscles look more realistic. There's a whole bunch that you can do, man. You can make the courts look better, the lighting with the ray tracing, like everything just looks great. And then to make it look even more realistic, there's other elements that you can add. Like on mine, I've put the ESPN scoreboard on there. Like, you know, if you play 2K on console, all that stuff is 2K Sports branded. They don't have the TNT scoreboard or the ESPN scoreboard. So that's just another level of realism that you can add to the game to just enhance your experience. Now, another thing that you can do with your PC is custom. So, you know, you can add your style to it, make it how you want it to look, add whatever colors you want to it, customize your RGB, get your favorite color case. But on top of all that, you have your peripherals that you need for your PC. So what mouse you use, what keyboard you use, what monitors you use, what desk you want, like all of that stuff. You get you a nice mouse pad, like all of that stuff adds to the setup and just makes everything come together. And then when we actually get into the games on the PC side of things, man, you have a huge library of games. You got Steam, which has so many games on it. You have Epic Games. You got all these different game launchers that just have their own dedicated app for PC. So you have a numerous amount of games that you can play on PC. Xbox Game Pass, like there's so many games that you have access to. The last pro with the PCs, man, is just your long-term value. Like your parts and everything that you get for your PC are gonna have a better value compared to a console, and it's gonna last you a lot longer depending upon what you get. If you put some good money into a PC build, it can far outlast a console. But you know, if you're just building like a budget PC build, then you might want to just look at getting a console just to keep things more simplistic. Now, some of the cons to PC gaming, man, it can be complicated. So there is a learning curve to it. You have to learn how to build your PC, what the parts do, and just like, you know, regular PC knowledge that you may not already have. So, you know, there will be a little bit of educating that you will have to do when it comes to PCs and building them, but there are also alternatives like there is to anything else. If you don't want to learn how to do all that, you can simply just pay somebody to build your PC for you, or you could buy a pre-built PC that it already comes put together for you, and you don't even have to do anything to it but hook it up just like a console. So again, the convenience is there on both sides. Now, the other downside to that with a PC is they may not be as portable as a console. You know, back in the day, you would probably take your console over to your homie's house, hook it up, and y'all would play. But a PC, they can be bigger, bulkier, and heavier. So you're not gonna drag this thing all over the place to play games and all that. But again, it also depends, because with PCs, you have a lot of variety. So you can make a small form factor PC build that may be even smaller than the console. So, you know, you have options when it comes to PCs. But I think the biggest con when it comes to PCs is the higher upfront cost. If you want to make a really good PC build, be prepared to spend the money. But I do think it's worth it in the long run, because like I said, if you build you a nice PC build, they can last a really, really long time before you need to upgrade them or any of your internals again. So I definitely think the trade-off is worth it. I would just steer clear of gaming laptops altogether. I mean, if you really want to get one, you could, but who doesn't want to have that customization available to them? So, you know, man, to wrap everything up when it comes to console versus PC, if you want easeability, convenience, a lower cost, and, you know, some console exclusive games, then you can definitely go down the console route. But if you want max performance, customization, long-term flexibility, then I would definitely say go with a PC. But my real answer, I would say go both. You know, you can't go wrong with both. If you have the budget, build you a nice PC setup, and then also get you a console, because like I said, console exclusive games that come out, you're gonna want to play those. So you're gonna need a console for it anyway. I like having both. I mean, I need both for what I do. I make gaming content too. So I need a console and a PC. So I need to have both anyway. But I like having a console for when I want to play more laid back games and have it be convenient. But then like when I want to get on my PC and mod things, I have that capability also. So my real answer is go with both if you can. But if not, I laid out some pros and cons for y'all for both, and y'all can make the decision. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video for today. I hope it was informative for you. If it was, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel. As always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and be sure to stay plugged in. Peace.